धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामका पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत Sanjaya?
Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, what did the combative sons of mine and Pandus do, gathered on the holy field of Kurukshetra? So the first two words here are Dharmakshetra and Kurukshetra. Our inner personality, which should be a kshetra, field of dharma, of righteousness, of peace and bliss, has now become a Kurukshetra, a land of strife and struggle, of stress and delusion. And when that stress builds up, you're unable to sleep, you get depressed, all kinds of symptoms come. So you are the abode of Atman and peace and bliss. How have you become so stressed out? And how do you get back to that peace, that elusive thing called peace and happiness? You have to work for it. You have to be committed to it. And that's what he's talking about here. Dhritarashtra, as I said, was the blind king. He was the son of Vichitravirya's widow, Ambika. You know what happened? Bhishma was born as Devavrata. He was called Devavrata, Shantanu's son. Shantanu was the king. One day, Devavrata, the son, realized that Shantanu was, his father was a little out of sorts. So he goes and asks his charioteer, the driver. You know, the drivers are the guys who know everything. So watch out. So he goes and asks his father's driver, says, what's wrong with my father? Why is he so dejected? He says, he's fallen in love. So he says, with whom? He's the king and he can marry anyone he likes. So what's the problem? He finds out that the father had fallen in love with Satyavati, a fisherman's daughter. And that fisherman, after all, is an astute businessman. So when he goes and asks for his daughter's hand in marriage, he refuses because he says, you have a son, Devavrata, who will be the next king, so my daughter's children have no chance of being king. So Devavrata goes to that fisherman and says, I give up my right to the throne. What a sacrifice he did for his father's stupidity. And that fisherman did not let go. He said, you might not claim the kingdom, but your children are natural heirs to the throne. So my daughters had it anyway. That's when Devavrata took the tremendous vow of celibacy. He said, I will not get married only. So there's no question of having children who will take the throne. What a thing. When he took that vow, they said the heavens opened and the gods paid homage to him. And that's why he was renamed Bhishma, means terrible oath, terrible vow that he took. But see how it happens. Selfishness never ever pays. Satyavati had a son, Vichitravirya. Bhishma took on the responsibility of getting Vichitravirya married to, he got the three daughters of the king of Kashi, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. Amba had already given her heart to somebody else, and when she told him that, he let her go. Ambika and Ambalika married Vichitravirya. He died before he could have any children. And then Satyavati was at a loss. Her son became king, but the son died. And the entire kingdom was without heir. So she went to Bhishma again, asking Bhishma to father children. He refused. He said, for you I took a vow of celibacy. I'm not going to change that. So then Vyasa pitched in. And so came two brothers. Dhritarashtra was the son of Ambika through Vyasa, and Pandu was the son of Vyasa through Ambalika. Now, if you're confused, don't worry. But this Dhritarashtra, who was so infatuated to his sons that he could not see right from wrong. He's asking Sanjaya, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu? This is the starting point of all conflict. This mine versus yours, this mera and tera, this competition, where you see your own people as enemies. So all problems spring because of this otherness. And so therefore the cause of the whole battle was Dhritarashtra and his inability to see oneness with his own brother's children. And not only that, Yudhishthir was God's good man. Yudhishthir had proven his allegiance to and his love for Duryodhana and all the Kauravas because he had helped him through lots of challenges before. But Duryodhana in his madness could not see that Yudhishthir was a benefactor. He also saw Yudhishthir as an enemy. He was jealous of them and bitter towards them, and then became sarcastic and vicious and deadly. Now, this is what is happening to each one of us. Then, dharma is the first word of the first verse of the Gita, and the entire Gita ends with the word mama in the 18th chapter. The whole Gita is sandwiched between two words, dharma and mama. Mama dharma means my essential being. My nature, my essential being is not the body, mind and intellect that I believe it to be now. All of us believe. Who are you? You'll talk about the body 90% of the time. Few of us identify with mind, absolute minority with the intellect. But beyond the body, mind and intellect, we don't see anything. All the great rishis and masters have told us, all sorrow comes from the body, mind and intellect and identification with the body, mind and intellect. Wrong identification and then attachment to it. So you are focusing on body, mind and intellect and you are constantly repeating, I am body, 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 mind, 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 intellect. And you become the body, mind and intellect. Thereafter, you are victimized by the world because the world can influence the body, mind and intellect. The world cannot influence the spirit in you, Atman. Your essential being is Atman. Once you get to Atman, all the dukkha, all the sorrow that you experience completely converts to happiness. And then this, as Mirabai says in a bhajan, mit gai phera pheri, all this rushing about for happiness comes to an end because you have achieved infinite happiness. Just listen to this. Janamira ko giridhar miliya, Janamira ko giridhar miliya, dukh mein tan sukh the basic thing that Mirabai is talking about is when you find, she says, Milgaya, when she finds Krishna means Atman, then the sorrows convert into happiness. And you experience that happiness in every pore of your personality. And then comes the end of all searching. This is something that you and I should search for. Even prior to realization. As long as your focus is on the body, mind and intellect, you will be traumatized, you will be sorrowful, you will be affected by something or the other, like just now you saw. It's such a beautiful bhajan. Somebody went and messed it up. You couldn't hear. But that doesn't mean you don't get the spirit of it. Rise above it. You'll get it. Similarly, any time you're faced with a problem, tell yourself, I am not the mind. I am Atman. Nothing in the world. No mother-in-law can affect your spirit. No daughter-in-law can affect your Atman. And no husband or wife can traumatize your Atman. Next verse.